Hey everybody, welcome to Aegis Cozy Crochet Corner, where today on the corner we'll be working this elegant shawl. We're working with the super fine one yarn, so we're working in a one strand, and you can make it as short as this or you can make it longer. I'm going to show you examples of that here, or either way. So let's get right to the table and we'll learn how to work this elegant shawl. Hey everybody, and welcome to Aegis Cozy Crochet Corner, and we are now at the table. So items that we're going to need today to make this project, we'll need, of course, our scissors, a yarn needle that is that eye is large enough for us to put our yarn through, or a darning needle, and we're going to be using a 4mm hook. I am going to be using this one for the project today, Wool Light Semi-Lane yarn, and this is 678 yards, and it's a super fine yarn. All of these that I made are super fine because we want them really light for spring and summer. Now, in the beginning, I showed you all of these. This one right here, this is the short one, and we chained 282 in order to accomplish the short one, and for the longer one we are chaining 346 for the longer one. Now the white one right here, I did this one and the Summer Nights. I wanted to see how the Summer Nights will work out by Lion Brand, and there's 437 yards here. I wanted to see how it would turn out, and for this one I wound up having to chain less to achieve the same size as the long one, but I actually didn't count it. I just crocheted, did my foundation chain in the same size as this one. So I just wanted to make note, if you're using different brand of yarn than I am, like for these two, that no worries, you're pretty much just going to chain till you get your desired length. You do not have to go by the foundation chains that I'm using for this project. You could do just like I did with this one, just chain the length that you need, because different yarn may come out different. Like this is more stretchier than this one, so once I achieved the same size as this one, it was way too long, so I just pulled out as many chains as I needed to make it the length that I wanted it to, but it still wound up being longer than this one. So this one aside, I really want to focus on these two. This is what we'll be doing. Once we're finished, it will sit this way, right here. So I'm going to get all of this out of here. If you're looking for the amount of yarn used for the project, you'll be able to find that in the description box for the short one as well as for the longer one. The only thing we need to know about our project before we start is our foundation chain is an even number. So even if you don't go by the foundation chains that I'm using for the long one or for the short one, all we need to know is that we are working in even numbers. So you can always chain an even number to your desired length and you're great. So I'm only working with one strand of yarn as well. If you would like to work with 2 strands of yarn to make it easier for you or move quicker, if you don't like doing just the one strand of the superfine, you can use 2 of these together. Just pull them out and work them together, and it'll give you a little bit more thickness, but we're going to do this video like I did the rest of the shawls. Now to begin, we're just going to start our foundation chain. Okay. So because we're working in an even number and this is so long, I'm just going to chain 20 to begin. And this pattern works in a 9-row repeat. So I'm going to show you the first 9 rows, and then we're just going to repeat that 5 times total. 10, 11, and 20. Now that I have my foundation chain with 20 chains on it, we're going to skip that first chain from the hook, okay? And we're going to go into the second chain from the hook, and we're going to make a half double. So we're going to yarn over, skipping the first chain from the hook. We're going to go to the second one and go inside the chain, grab our yarn, come up. We have 3 loops on our hook, and we're going to take off all 3. All right, so we're going to do that again. Yarn over, go into the next chain, grab our yarn, come up, 3 loops on our hook, grab our yarn and pull through all 3. Now we'll be making half doubles all the way down our first row. Now this is going to be a 9-row repeat, and then we will start again. So this row starts our 9-row repeat, and we'll just keep making our half doubles all the way to the end. And right to the last one. Okay, so our next row is going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now we're going to yarn over, and row 2 is going to be a row of half doubles, but our half doubles will be in the back loop only. So when we look at our work like this, we see we have our front and our back on the tops. Looks like a V. We're going to go just in the back loop, and we're going to come up and make our half double. You're going to yarn over again, and just in the back loop, we're going to grab our yarn, pull up, and make our half double. And again, just in that back loop, make our half double. And one more time, just in our back loop, grab our yarn, pull up, and make our half double. Now we'll do that all the way down to the end of the row, half doubles and the back loop only. Now our last stitch in this row will be going through both loops. Now we're at our last stitch, and that last stitch we're going to go through both loops, okay, and make our half double. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. So row 3 is going to be double crochets and the back loop only. So we're going to start with our first stitch. We're going to find that back loop, and we're going to make our double crochets. Let's do that again. We're going to go find our back loop, and we're going to make our double crochets. And again, back loop, grab our yarn, pull up, and we're going to make our double crochets. So third row, double crochets and the back loop only. And we'll do that all the way to the end of the row, but when we get to our last stitch, that last stitch will be through both loops. And we're at our last stitch, and that last stitch will go through both loops and make our double crochet. Now our next row, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and our fourth, turn our work, and our fourth row is going to be a row of treble stitches. Okay, now all our treble stitches we're going to yarn over 2 times, and we're going to find that first stitch, and we're going to go back loop only, and we're going to take off 2, take off 2 again, and then take off our final 2. So I'm going to do that again. Yarn over 2 times, find our back loop, yarn over, take off 2, take off 2 again, and then take off our final 2. One more time, yarn over 2 times. We're going to find our back loop, going to take off 2, take off 2 again, and take off our final 2. And we're going to do that all the way down to the last stitch, and the last stitch will be done in both loops. So we're at our last stitch. We're going to yarn over 2 times, and we're going to go through both loops for that one, and make our treble. So we're row 5, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and row 5 we're going to be making half doubles and the back loop only. So we're going to turn our work up and find our first half double. We're going to find our first stitch, going to go in the back loop only and make our half double, and again back loop and make our half double, back loop and make our half double, and back loop and make our half double. Now we'll be doing that all the way to the end of the row. The last stitch in the row we will be going through both loops. Okay, and for our last stitch we're going to yarn over and go through both loops and make our half double. Okay, so that was row 5. So row 6 is a treble row. So before our treble rows we always chain 2 and turn our work, and now on this row we'll be doing trebles and a chain 1. So we're going to be working these trebles in both loops on this row. So we're going to yarn over twice, go into the first stitch and make our treble, chain 1, gonna yarn over 2 more times. We're gonna skip the next one. That chain 1 is gonna hold for that space, and we're gonna go to the next one and we're going to make another treble. I'm gonna chain 1, yarn over 2 more times. We're going to skip the next stitch, and then the following stitch we're going to go in there and place a treble, and we're going to chain 1, yarn over 2 times. We're going to skip the next stitch, and then the following one we're going to go in and make our treble and chain 1. Okay, so we're going to do treble, chain 1 all the way down this row, and we're going to be working through both loops on this row. Now chain 1, and our last stitch should go into the last stitch. So we should have 2 stitches left, and our last treble should go in our last stitch. So row 6 should look like this. Okay, now for row 7 we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now row 7 is different because we're going to be doing half doubles, but we're going to be doing our half doubles into both loops and in between the chain 1 space. Okay, So we're going to yarn over, and our first stitch is right here. Okay, we're going to be going inside there and making a half double. Our next stitch is going to be in our chain one space, so we'll go inside the chain one space and make our half double. Next stitch is going to be right on top of that treble through both loops, and the next one will go through the chain one space, and we'll do that all the way down this row. Half double into the top of the treble and into the chain one space, and that way we're not skipping any stitches, and we're keeping our same number count all the way down this row, so we don't lose any stitches on any of our rows. And we'll keep going, and of course our last stitch will be going through both loops. And that is our row 7. Now our next row is a treble row, so we're going to chain 2 in the beginning of every treble row, and we're going to treble all the way down this row in the back loop only. So we'll make our trebles in the back loop only. So we'll do this all the way down this row, but our last stitch will go through both loops. Now our last treble is going to go through both loops. Now we're going to chain 1, turn our work. That was row 8. Row 9 is going to be double crochets in the back loop only. So we'll find our first stitch, and we'll go in the back loop, double crochets in the back loop all the way down until we get to our last stitch, and our last double crochet will go through both loops. So I'm going to do this all the way to the end, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so row 9 finished. This is our whole entire project. We're just going to be making rows 1 through 9 5 times total. Okay, so at the end of that we should have 45 rows, and now that we're here, we'll go right back to half doubles. Now when we start our half doubles in row 1, we're just going to be putting them through both loops. Okay, so when we first did it off our foundation chain, we were only going through one loop, but we are going through both loops coming off of here. So how we're going to finish off is the same way we began. We're going to put 2 rows of half doubles to finish off, and our 2 rows of half doubles are going to be through both loops. So we're chain 1, turn our work, and then we're going right into the first stitch, and we're going to make our half doubles. Now we're doing the last 2 through both loops, because this will be the top of our project, and where our foundation chain is, where we begin, that will be where we place our tassels. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my 2 rows of half doubles to end it off, and then we'll work our tassels. So when we're done, we're going to cut our yarn, and we're going to chain 1, pull through. And this is what it's going to look like. Of course, more rows here, but this is how it's going to go. And you can see the texture that it creates when we work in the back loop only. And now we're going to go ahead and put on our tassels. Let's bring in our book. Let's turn it around so those colors aren't so distracting. Now we're going to pull out some yarn, and of course I'm working with a little piece, so I'm not going to make many tassels. Now what we're going to do is, I want you to take whatever you're using, piece of cardboard or whatever it is, and hold that down. And then you're just going to, let me get a good position, and now we're just going to wrap this around. Okay, so just going to wrap it around. And if I was making more tassels, I would keep going until I had a good amount done. I'm just going to do this few, and then I want to cut this here at the bottom. Now that I have that cut and out the way, I'm going to take and I'm going to grab all my tassels, and I'm just going to cut it all at the base in the same place. My book leaves. So now I have my few tassels, and I'm just going to take two, and I'm going to kind of make sure they're even. Okay, and I'm just going to start in the corner here and place my hook where I want my tassels to be. Now I'm just going to grab my tassel and pull it through. Now once I have it up enough, I'm just going to grab it and pull it through the hole and pull down tight. Let's do it again. Get two of them, put them together, make sure they're even, and I'm just going to choose the middle. I'm going to go through the middle and place a tassel here. So that's where I want to put my hook at. I want to grab my yarn off of my finger and pull it through and pull it up. Now I'm just going to grab my yarn and pull that through, and then pull it tight. Now with where I began, I usually keep that kind of long, because what I like to do, and since we have this one left over here, I'm going to show you, I'm going to make this one even. Okay, and then I'm going to go right through that beginning space. Okay, and I'm going to add this on and pull it through. Now I want to grab my starter string with the rest of my tassels. So when I grab this and pull it through, oh wait, I didn't grab it all. When I grab it and pull it all through and I pull this down, as you see now, this becomes one of the tassels. Okay, and it just saves a slight weaving in right there. So now we only have this little end to weave in. So I'm going to show you, grab my yarn needle, and I'm going to place this through. Okay, and now I just want to weave this back and forth until I'm comfortable that it's secure. Now I always say 3 times, but I tend to do this more than 3 times. I don't want to pull too tight because I don't want my work to look like it's gathered in this area, but I do want to feel secure that it's not coming out. And once I've done that, I'm just going to take and cut it right at the base so we can't see that. And that is it. So a simple 9-row repeat made with some super fine yarn. And when I say these turn out to be very soft, very light, very elegant looking shawls. One of my favorite things to make. I make them in all different colors. I have mine in all different colors. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. You can find the simple pattern to this on my Etsy page. So even if you just want to come through and support the corner by purchasing the pattern, you'll find that there. As always, you guys, thank you for coming to the corner. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.